Hi, in this video we're going to talk about how to render your scene by the Renderman. Let's first open our example file, sample the 52 render test scene. We are going to use this file to introduce all the render methods in MyArmy. So this file is relatively big, it needs some time to open. Oh, okay, that is it. The first step, we need to check whether our geometries inside of this geometry group and which can be controlled by our origin agent by the skin cluster method. And we need to check all of the geometries in the hierarchy which can obey the randomized geometries. You can see that we can randomize the geometry by the different set of the different body and different the body group, different clothes and body and the head. And the second step, we need to make the agent cache. Let's just open the cache tool and place our agents. You can see that we cannot play back it interactively, so we need to make it agent cache E drive ABC render test. To make agent cache. Then after that, we needed to enable agent cache so that it can be played back interactively. And we are going to introduce how to render your scene by Renderman. We are going to use the 3D Light here. This is the menu. The first step, we need to export the render contents. Here we need to do some setup. In the MyArmy folder, MyArmy tool shelf, in the render settings, the RM global. We needed to specify where we want to export the render contents. For example, we needed to specify E drive ABC RM test. If that is not exist, it will automatically change to the project folder. So we needed to create that folder, the outside of the here, RM test. Let's just copy and paste the folder right here. So that is cool. And we need to specify some names of the export and the extension and image format. And we're going to export 1 to 24 frames and the padding is full. And then we need to specify the procedural primitive stuffs, and you can see that we need to specify the run program or DSO folder. So let's open that. We go to find the MyArmy installation, the path, and go to the bin folder. You can see that there is a PRMan 3D Light DSO and the 3D Light run programs. And first we are going to use the run program, to copy this directory, and I paste right here and clicked enable. Okay, and let's export the render contents. I think everything is okay now. Renderman, export RIP archive file. So the first step, our system will generate the texture. They convert your texture from the regular format to the Renderman TEX format. So it will take a little bit time. You can see that everything is automatically into the source image, the main. You can see that the TEX file has been generated. The TEX, and then it will export the render, the RIP file, the frame by frame E drive ABC, and here you can see that there's the RIP file. This is the render archive file. We're going to use this file for render our scene. So that is done. And now once we export the file we need, here you can see that in the RM test RIP file. We needed to create something, the RIP archive file in 3D Light. the 3D Light. Create the RIP archive node, and we need to specify the directory and find the RIP archive file. For example, let's build it in frame 10, okay, and let's render it and test it. Render. You can see that your agents has been rendered out by the archive file. And how about we create some else element, the plan, and make it light. Create a light, directional light, and render again. So you can see that the render archive file is working, and also you can render this by the DSO mode, which is the more faster the method. So let's do that. We need to find our DSO, the program file, the base find, the bin, the DSO, and you notice that there are some of the versions. We selected the latest one, and Control C, and paste Control V here, and enable the DSO mode. We need to export the RIP archive file again. So you can see that it exporting that frame by frame. It's similar like the previous one, but it is using the DSO. When you see that, you can see that this is a change to the dynamic load, because the PRMan has two methods. The one is the run program, and this is dynamic load. The run program is actually a string operation which we can generate the RIP files when the render happen, but the dynamic load is actually calling the Renderman, the API. So that is the differences. Okay, and that is done. Since we already created the archive file and the RIP file name is no change, we can directly render it. Let's render that. You can see that the result is the same, but this time they actually is using the dynamic load method, because this kind of the RIP file is actually changed to the run program. It changed it to the dynamic load method, dynamic load. So that is cool. And if you wanted to render the frame sequence of this file, you needed to create several 24 the render archive file in your scene, and keyframe the visibility for this. So this is very easy to achieve. So you needed to, for example, duplicate Control D and change this to the frame 11. And you can see that this 1 and 2, you just needed to the archive 1 only appear in the 10 frames, and the archive 2 only appear in the 11 frame. So frame by frame, this keyframe, that you needed to create 24 with the render archive file, so that can make the frame range and the frame rendering. Okay, this is our introduction for the Renderman render. Thank you for watching. See you next time.